Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to see about Microsoft Fabric. The Microsoft Fabric is a recently launched software as a service tool, and since it has been launched, everyone in the Azure data space has been talking about it and it became a popular tool. In this video we'll be seeing about what exactly Microsoft Fabric is and why it is so popular. Also we'll be seeing about its architecture, the different types of components and its features. So watch the video until the end to find out more about Fabric. Let's get started. So firstly, what is Microsoft Fabric? It is an all-in-one unified analytics platform. You can think of Microsoft Fabric as a similar kind of interface as Power BI. With that interface, imagine you can do a complete data engineering project, also a complete data science project, and even a complete data analysis project with one single software as a service tool. That is exactly what Microsoft Fabric can do. And that's the reason it is so popular among the Azure data professionals. It is very likely that many companies will be trying this tool to implement the data solutions in their organizations. So now let's see what are the different components that exist in Microsoft Fabric, which helps in doing the data engineering, data science, and data analysis work. Firstly, we have a component called Data Factory in Microsoft Fabric. We all know that Azure Data Factory is one of the most commonly used tools to perform the ETL process in Azure. So we have the same tool available in Fabric, which helps in doing the ETL process as well. This makes the Fabric a great tool to use for doing data engineering work. The next component of Microsoft Fabric that is related to data engineering domain is Synapse Data Engineering. This is the same component that exists in Azure, which is called Azure Synapse Analytics. This is a great tool that helps in doing a complete data engineering work, right from ingestion, transformation, and loading. Microsoft Fabric has this as a separate component, so using this Synapse data engineering component, you can do a complete data engineering project quite easily. The next component we have in Fabric is Synapse Data Warehouse. Using this component, we can build a complete data warehousing system like creating databases, tables, queries, and implementing various security and several other stuff. And then we have Synapse Real-Time Analytics component in Fabric. This helps in handling real-time streaming data by processing and storing them in a most optimized way. So these are the four components related to data engineering domain. As you can see, we have almost everything required to do a data engineering project, right from doing the ETL process, data warehousing, and the ability to handle streaming data. Due to this, it is very clear that Fabric is a complete data engineering tool. Now, in terms of data science domain, we have a separate component called Synapse Data Science in Fabric. Using this, we can do all kinds of data science work like model training, doing experiments, and deployments. And finally, we have the data analysis domain. So if you want to do a data analysis project, then you have Power BI in Fabric to do it. So in order to use Fabric, we need to enable it only inside the Power BI workspace. So when you are using the Fabric components, you get Power BI along with it, which helps in doing all kinds of reporting and data analysis work. So having all these components in one single software as a service tool is a great specialty of Microsoft Fabric. Now in terms of architecture of Microsoft Fabric, these components are the most important ones. The compute power that all these components use in Fabric is serverless compute. So what is called a serverless compute? When using the serverless compute, we don't have to manage any kind of infrastructure and we can just run the application on an on-demand basis and the compute will be readily available for us to use it. For example, in Synapse Data Warehouse component, we have T-SQL, which is a query language, and we can make use of this to query the tables using the serverless compute. Also in the Synapse Data Engineering component, we have the Spark engine to use in the notebooks for data transformation. This also uses the serverless compute. One of the main difference between the Spark engine between the Fabric Synapse and the Azure Synapse Analytics is, when you run a notebook cell in Azure Synapse Analytics, it will take a while to spin up the Spark cluster before running the cell. Whereas in the Fabric Synapse, there is no waiting time for the Spark cluster to spin up and it directly runs the cell in the notebook. This is due to the serverless compute. So in terms of Synapse Real-Time Analytics component, we have KQL, which is called Quisto Query Language. The streaming data that is processed using this component can be stored in the Quisto DB And then we can make use of KQL for querying the streaming data that has been stored inside the Custo database. This also uses the serverless compute to query and process the data. Finally, we have the analysis service in Power BI, which is mainly used for doing data modeling, such as setting up the relationship between multiple tables, cardinality, and other stuff. Okay, now we have discussed about the different components in Microsoft Fabric and also discussed about the different compute that each of these component uses. So now you might have a question. Okay, we have the components and the compute, but what about the storage in Fabric? Where does the data get saved in Fabric? So for that, we have a concept called One Lake. A One Lake is a unified storage solution in Fabric where all the data gets saved in one storage location, which is One Lake. It is a new concept and it is built on top of Azure Data Lake Gen 2. So when you create a Fabric instance in the tenant, you get One Lake created for you automatically, and this will be the one-stop storage for the entire Fabric resource. For example, when you create a data warehouse using the Synapse data warehouse component, or when you create a Custo DB using the Synapse real-time analytics component, the underlying data for both of these databases is stored only in One Lake. So this is the architecture of Microsoft Fabric, and these are the components, the compute used, and the storage. So now what we can do is, we can explore the future of these individual components in a bit detailed way. So let me start this with Data Factory. In Data Factory, what are the features that we have in Fabric is? Firstly, we have pipelines. Similar to the layout of Azure Data Factory in creating the pipelines to move the data from the source to the destination and creating several other activities, we can do almost everything with the Fabric inbuilt Data Factory component as well. Say for example, you can create copy activity, and also we have several connectors to connect to different data sources and can perform the data integration within the Fabric itself. So this is one of the main features of Data Factory component. And next we have a concept called data flows. You may already know that even in ADF, Azure Data Factory, we have data flow options where you could use that to perform simple data transformations like joins, unions, etc. It is an UI-based transformation option where you could simply drag and drop and perform simple transformation. In Fabric, this is called as Dataflow Gen 2. But the UI for this Dataflow Gen 2 in Fabric is completely different from the ADF Dataflow UI. The Fabric Dataflow Gen 2 UI is more kind of similar to the Power Query editor in Power BI. I mean where you will write mQuery to transform the data in Power BI. The Dataflow Gen 2 is also having the similar structure where you could also use mQuery to do the transformations like unions, joins, group by operations, and several other stuff. So these are the two main features of Data Factory component. Now let's see about the next component, which is Synapse Data Engineering. The first biggest feature of this component is notebooks. Similar to how we can use notebooks in Azure Synapse Analytics, we can also use the notebook capability in Microsoft Fabric using the Synapse Data Engineering component for doing any kind of data transformation. We can make use of this notebook to transform the data easily, and the supported programming languages in this notebook is PySpark, Scala, Spark SQL, and R. So basically, if you want to perform any data transformation, then you can make use of this notebook option to do it. The next feature that we have in Synapse Data Engineering component is Spark Job Definition. So what is the main use of Spark Job Definition is? Consider if you want to execute a certain function as a separate piece of code and not using notebooks. Then you can perform this using Spark Job Definition. There is a separate UI for this, and you can go there, and in the UI, you can either upload the code files such as Python, Scala, and R to run the code as a job, or also if the file exists in the external data lake location, you can refer the code file by providing the data lake location path to execute it as a job. This is also a great feature to have in this component. The next one is the Lakehouse. This is an interesting one. So when we use the notebook functionality to transform the raw data to the cleanest form of data, we can write the transformed data into the Lakehouse database in either Delta or Parquet format. The main idea of Lakehouse database is to store all the data in one lake, and it acts as a serving layer for holding the table structure and databases. So there is a separate workspace for this Lakehouse database in Fabric, where you can view the different database and table structure. There is another interesting feature in this Lakehouse database, which is called as shortcuts. This is a great feature in Fabric. So what is meant by shortcut is, say for example, you have a lot of data in Azure Data Lake Gen 2 and you want to use the same data inside Fabric for processing. In that scenario, you don't have to completely copy the data from Azure Data Lake Gen 2 to Microsoft Fabric OneLake. Instead, you can use this shortcut option to directly use the Azure Data Lake inside Fabric itself. This is really a great feature which helps in removing duplication in copying the data. Also, using the shortcut option, you can use the Amazon S3 bucket storage data inside Fabric as well. And finally, we also have pipeline option in the Synapse data engineering component. So if you want to do a complete data engineering work, we can make use of this one single Synapse data engineering component to do it. Say for example, if you want to use pipelines to copy the data across, you don't have to go to the data factory component to do it. Instead, you can do it using the Synapse data engineering component itself with addition to other features like notebooks, path job definition, and Lakehouse database. So these are the main features of Synapse data engineering. Now let's move to the next component, which is Synapse data warehouse. In this component, the first and foremost important feature is creating the warehouse itself. Using this component in Fabric, you can able to create a complete data warehousing system such as creating tables and databases and also queries like store procedures and functions, and even we can able to do a complete data modeling using the warehouse component. The data modeling in the sense like creating the relationship between multiple tables with facts and dimensions such as star or snowflake schema model. The look and feel of the modeling part in this component is very much similar to how we used to do modeling in Power BI using the model tab. And the next feature in this component is pipeline. Even this component has pipeline options where you could use pipelines to copy data from source directly to the tables that we have created inside the data warehouse itself. This is a very convenient way of loading the data directly to the database. These two are the main features of Synapse data warehouse. Now let's move to the next component, which is Synapse data science. Using the Synapse data science component, we can do multiple data science and machine learning things, starting with model training, where we have a separate UI in which we could use notebooks for training the model. And then we have a separate UI for performing experiments. We can make use of the notebooks in this section to conduct experiments to evaluate the performance of the trained model. And then the final feature of this component is having the functionality of the notebook. We could also use the notebooks for transforming the data required for model training based on the machine learning requirements. So basically, we can use this component to perform any kind of data science and machine learning work. So now let's discuss about the next component, which is Synapse real-time analytics. The most important feature in this component is the KQL database, which is the query language database. In Synapse real-time analytics component, when we process the real-time streaming data, most probably it will be stored in the KQL database. And the tool that is used to process this streaming data is called as Event Stream. We'll be using Event Stream to handle the streaming data by connecting to the data source, process it, and store it in the KQL database. Then once the data gets stored in the KQL database, we could then use query language to query the streaming data in a most optimized way. These two are the main features of Synapse real-time analytics component. Now let's move to the next component, which is Power BI. We all know about Power BI, which is a business intelligence tool mainly used for reporting and analysis. We already discussed that we need to enable Fabric only in the Power BI workspace, which means that if you get the premium license for the Power BI, then you'll also be able to use Fabric with it. Therefore, we can also use Power BI along with the other components of Fabric. So when Microsoft released Fabric, it also included few other features with Power BI. In that, the most interesting feature is Copilot. The Copilot is a natural language artificial intelligence model. You can think of this like a chat GPT where you'll have a chat interface and you can just type in few things. Say for example, asking the Copilot to create some reports for you or asking Copilot to create some measures for you based on the requirements, and the Copilot will automatically do it for you. Basically, you can make use of Copilot to create reports easily. The next feature is the Git integration support for Power BI. Finally, we can integrate Power BI with Git, which means that multiple developers can work collaboratively with the same reports. With this feature, we can integrate Power BI with repositories such as Azure DevOps repos, and also can implement CI/CD process to deploy to multiple environments with the help of recently added deployment pipeline feature in Power BI. Okay, so these are the main features of Power BI. Now let's see about the final component, which is OneLake. As discussed earlier, OneLake is the unified storage solution in Microsoft Fabric, which means that all the data in Fabric is stored only in OneLake. Say for example, when we create data warehouse using Synapse warehouse component, even though we have an interface there to create database and tables, the underlying data will be stored in OneLake. The same goes for the Lakehouse database and Kuster database, where the underlying data will be stored in the OneLake. One interesting thing about this is, all these three databases are different in nature, but it is stored in the same storage location, which is OneLake. This is a great feature of Microsoft Fabric. These are the different components of Microsoft Fabric. One thing to note here is that the Fabric is still in preview, which means that it is not ready for production yet. Usually when Microsoft launches any new tools, it will be in preview for a few months, as they'll be continuously updating the features or any bugs based on the first level of testing. In the future updates, they'll be also adding a new component called Data Activator in Microsoft Fabric. Just to give you a rough idea about what is Data Activator, it is a kind of like a monitoring and alerting tool where it monitors the data continuously, and if it finds any anomalies or outliers in the data, it will trigger an alert for us to take some actions immediately. So I think now you should be having some understanding about what exactly Microsoft Fabric is and what are the different components of Fabric and its features. In the next video, we'll be seeing how to create Microsoft Fabric and enable it in the Power BI workspace. So that's it for today. Please like, share and subscribe if you really like this video. See you in another great video. Until then, cheers. Bye.